Right. Thank you for staying with us. It's still about the Nigerian state, the economy, and what is the need for them, especially as the whole nation waits for the proposed commencement date of these tax laws. It was signed in June by, the president. And of course, the picture, the video was everywhere. We had it earlier. Possibly a producer should pull it up as well, where at the assent, the speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, the Senate president was there, all other principal officers, the chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, was there as well in June when those laws were assented to by Mr. President and all of those things. But now, we are now at a few days before the commencement. Nigerians are asking questions, especially with the issue of alleged alterations or some key important aspects of those laws, where some honorable members have said that wasn't the copy, the year that was presented to the president that he ascended to, and after that we now have a different version. We've been speaking with a law lecturer, a legal practitioner, and of course a public affairs analyst, Dr. Lateef, Misbau, who has been speaking and analyzing the matter. And of course we have been joined by tax expert and analyst right now, Dr. Adegbite Ademikanra. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you. Good morning, viewers at home.
Yeah, it's good to have you here again.
Thank you.
I remember the last time we had you was still on this topic, and you sat right there,
all right,
telling us the merits of these particular tax laws right now. But Dr. Lateef you were going to make a point. Please land on that point. Dr. Misbau, Lateef, are you with us?
Yes, sorry. Once I'm here, sorry.
You were going to land on your point because before the break, we asked you if Nigerians should wait, or people that are asking, even ordinary Nigerians, and I ask you, Tokpe and I, to say we're asking you as a Nigerian, Dr. Lateef, shouldn't we wait for the result of this probe before we say or support what the presidency are saying, that regardless, the alteration allegation is being proved, but then it must go ahead? And we are asking you your position on the matter. You are about to land and talk about some of these issues.
All right, thank you. You see, for emphasis, my position on that basically is one, from the angle of law, and the second, from the context of the history of this law itself. Now, on the angle of law, like I said earlier, technically speaking, and I say this with authority, nobody has the power to suspend that law. You don't suspend a law. Only a court can invalidate a law, or the National Assembly can repeal a law. I do not think we have the time to do all of that now. And so basically, people calling for the president or whoever to suspend the law, I think they are doing it out of ignorance or some out of deliberate mischief, based again on the fact or history of this law. On the other hand, like I said earlier, I'm not sure there is any other law in the recent history of Nigeria that has been visited with so much, I would say, opposition than this law, and yet the tax law has survived. So basically, some of the people who are agitating for this sudden cancellation or withdrawal or whatever, go and check their history. They have never for once supported this law. Alhaji Atiku did not support the law. Peter Obi did not support the law. Some of the nebulous civil society group that you mentioned earlier did not support the law. You see, on one hand, I recognize that payment of taxes all over the world, including this part of the world, is not something that people do with pleasure. People don't normally want to pay taxes. And given the history in our own country where you have public official corruption, people generally are entitled to ask questions. What is the point in paying tax when the tax will end up in the pocket of some individuals or irresponsible government officials? I recognize and appreciate all of that. But despite all of that, we still have to do the right thing to support our country. So basically, many people, as I see it, who are now saying the law should be suspended and all of that, again, check their history with this law. They never supported the law for one. So this is why I say Alhaji Atiku or Peter Obi, they do not have any integrity to say what they are saying now, and I do not take them seriously. Again, there is no basis to suspend the law at this time. The allegations should be investigated first. By law, we are entitled to assume the regularity of that law. We are entitled to think or to say that, okay, the law as it is now is the law, okay, until the contrary is established according to law. And that's my point.
Dr. Misbau, let me hold you there. I'm still going to come back to you to ask you why you think some certain members of the elite do not want the law to take effect. But I'm going to ask Dr. Ademikanra to explain what this tax law is, so that the woman at the market would understand how it benefits her or affects her, how the civil servants, how people in the public sector would understand what are the elements of this law. I mean, how does it affect their lives, especially in the face of this current economic hardship that people are, experiencing. I mean, it's been said in several quotes by economists that Nigeria is out of recession. I mean, we're getting a good grasp of, our economic, policies and all of this. But how does it affect a woman in the market such that she will feel that, yes, this law, this tax law is to her benefit?
Well, thank you very much, and good morning, Nigerians. Just to put it very straight, I said it several times, most times when I was here, I said it that, look, one of the problems we have in Nigeria is that we have trust issues. Trust issues, because we believe whatever government is throwing at us, there must be some form of poison, in quote, in that. And I want us to just know that we have been collecting taxes over years in Nigeria. The women you are talking about in the market, they've been paying taxes over years. And so what has happened now is there's no difference there, except that even the low-income earners, those ones in the market, are the ones that will benefit tremendously from this particular...
I mean, that has always been said.
I'm saying, in line with the law that was passed, the poor people, the low-income earners are the ones that will benefit from this tax reform. So an average woman in the market should be rest assured that this particular tax reforms is not going to affect him negatively. I want to go further to let you know that you know quite well that, look, under the new law, if you are a salary earner, and maybe your minimum wage is about 1.2 million naira in a year, if you have a lot of reliefs, like the pension that you pay, like the health insurance, all these ones will be deducted from your annual income, and your taxable income, 800,000 of it again will be exempted from tax. So when you put all those things together, you realize that put the two together. I will tell you something. You can do it. Your salary, please go to the website of the fiscal committee, I think fiscalreforms.ng. Plug your salary there, plug whatever relief that you have been enjoying, compare it with what you have been receiving in the past. You will be, I can assure you, I've done it. The new tax law is to your advantage if you are a low income earner, at least if you are any less than 10 million naira in a year. And our women in the market, most of them are in the informal sector. Do you know that this particular reform was silent about the informal sector? Nobody is going to go to these market women and bombard them with unnecessary taxes.
When the law is silent on something, yes, sometimes that open-endedness is always being explored by some of these actors. Even and I know that.
No, even in the past, the subsisting law was silent or is silent on informal tax. Now, what we do is that subnationals are the ones now that will now make their law in tandem with the national law to generate revenue from the informal sector. When I was a chief executive, what we did in the state was that, look, for every state, if you don't have record of what you are selling, you are not a salary earner, you are a market woman, pay us 2,500 naira in a year. But you'll be right. I can assure you again that not many people buy into it. They didn't pay. In Lagos, as at that time, why we put our own at 2,500 was that in Lagos, as at that time, it was 5,000 naira. The allogers, they met with the government and they agreed on that particular template. So what every subnationals will do on informal tax is to do their, because you have every right also at the subnational level to do your own law on how you collect taxes from the informal sector in the formal market. So there is no problem about that. They should be, the state will take care of it, and that's why we have Joint Revenue Board now in the new law, which is going to consolidate and harmonize the intergovernmental law reforms in each of the states. So the states will take care of the informal sector.
All right. Before my colleague comes in, I'd like to ask you again. Many people have been talking about the fact that they have savings in their account, and are those savings too going to come into the purview of these tax laws? Are they going to be affected? I mean, are their savings going to be taxed? Let's have that.
No, the law didn't say anything about that. If you have money in your account, Femi, Tope, please, you guys should smile. Put your money in your account. If those money or the cash that you are putting there is not a function of a business that you have just done. If I give you money for Christmas, for instance, and it's in your account, nobody will touch that money in the bank account. In fact, the tax law did not empower anybody to go to your bank account and tax you based on the balances that you have on your savings or current account. So that one is out of the issue. If you have money and you keep it there, you could get some money. Somebody may even keep money with you. If I keep money with you, where will you put it? You take it to the bank, and that is not it's not a matter of taxes. You will not be taxed about that. It is your money. It is not a function of any business that you have done. But look, what does the Constitution say? Section 24, subsection F, says that every citizen must declare their income honestly. At the end of the year, you are the one that will do your own assessment. We call it self-assessment. So if at the end of the year, you now submit your self-assessment to the tax authority, the tax authority will use those data that you have submitted to determine what you are going to pay. So there's no problem about that at all.
All right, I will come back to you, especially these recent development of alterations and all of those things and exemptions. Because for many persons watching you, or that will still watch you later, they want to know which people are exempted from what. Personal income tax, the ones that has to do with people's businesses, to the tune of what figure. But let's go back to Dr. Lateef. Dr. Lateef, you inferred the other time about possibly there is a resistance from the elite not to support this particular tax law. You might want to expatiate.
All right, thank you. You see, some of these oppositions, I think they are influenced by different factors. One, over the years, we have had political elites who have really benefited so much from Nigeria, without caring about the common people or even wanting to give anything back to the system. And this is why you have people, they flaunt their assets. Some of them have many cars, many houses, even in a country where many people, could not afford 3 square meals. So yes, some, because of fear of now being compelled to pay tax from the income, because supposedly the asset they use in acquiring those, properties, they came from business. I mean, supposedly, and if they had income as huge as such, the question is that how much of that do they give back to the society? So many of them are actually afraid that this new law will eat into their income or into their assets. One, and there are those also who are influenced by partisan interests, whose interest is only to ensure that this...
Dr. Lateef, do you mean it's only politically inclined elites, or you mean the elite, the rich, in which have been fingered many times that they are not, too open, or they even, underpay? Are you talking about politically inclined elites, or the elites in Nigeria generally are always averse to pay? I'd like you to, clarify that point.
Okay, well, generally speaking, I will not say the elite in general, but the question about, the division is this. There are some elites who are not in public service. They are not even in politics. but they have friends in politics, and because of those influences, they tend to support, their friend in politics. There are also elites who are in the private sector. They are not interested in politics, and you see many of them who actually appreciate the value of this tax law. They do legitimate businesses. They are responsible citizens. They are patriotic. So I will not say all of the elites, generally speaking, but I will say most of partisan elites, the elite in politics, like the Alhaji Atiku of this world, like Peter Obi of this world, who never, and I'm singling them out because they are the prominent. They are not the only one.
Why? Because they are in the opposition. There are elites in the ruling party.
No, I can't begin to mention all of the members. You see, let me say this. People in the opposition, they are entitled to actually oppose the government of the day.
Wow.
They are entitled to put their feet on the fire. But you see, the problem we have in Nigeria is this. Sometimes the people in the opposition, they fail to draw the line between partisan politics and patriotism. So that you are in opposition, for example, does not mean you should not support a law that is for the good of Nigerians. The tax experts you have in the studio has helped us highlighted some of the benefits of the tax. So if you have a set of law that will benefit the common people the more, like this one, which seek to put more disposable income in the pocket of ordinary Nigeria. Let me give you an example. When I was working as a lecturer at OAU, some 5 years back, before I left, my salary threshold was within 2 million naira gross, okay? And which gave me less than 200,000 naira salary per annum, no, per month rather. Now, the point is that if I were in Nigeria today, and if I still earn the same salary, and as at that time, I was paying personal income tax, to Osun State government, of course, collected by federal government, and I think I was paying around maybe 30,000 or something, I can't remember again. That was being taken from my salary on a monthly basis. If I were in Nigeria today, even as a university lecturer, it is likely I will not be paying any tax at all, because I will make some deductions, like my national health insurance deductions, my housing contribution deduction, loans and other benefits. There are claims you can legitimately make. And then you have the 800,000 naira minimum threshold, which is not even taxable.
All right, Dr. Lateef. Permit me to come back to this here because of the time. But by the way, point noted that you have said the reasons why you believe some of these opposition figures might be averred, and in your own thought, you think they are not patriotic enough. But sadly, there are many persons that will say opposition politics in Nigeria is always like that. When the ruling party, they were in the opposition, there are many policies of the government they antagonized. And, of recent, some of them that were in the opposition have come out to say it was mere politics. Kayode Fayemi has alluded that they disrupted some things just because of opposition. Sadly, that's the way it is in Nigeria. But I will come back to you.
But should we continue? That way?
I will come back to you. I will come back to you. Now, Doctor, tell us what you feel about these recent allegations. In which many persons are talking about they have harmonized honorable members, all of them, they are due members of the House. And in fact, one, the Honorable Datsuki had to speak, make his point on the privileges. Because some said, if he has listed it in the order of the day, it might have been shut down by the powers that be. He has to use his privilege to raise that point. Because they are talking about the state capture of the elites on this matter. And you talk about public trust. Now, let me start from the issue of public trust because it's important. This has to do with money. People don't joke with their money. Even if it's 1 naira, people will shout as if it's $1 billion because they earn it themselves. Don't you think this will further make people to want to be wary to say they are, especially people that possibly might be convinced, like people like yourself who think this is for the better, and people are saying we have not even started. They're already altering whatever is is in this particular tax law. That's number one. And very importantly, number two, when you answer that, are there exemptions? Are there people that you would like to tell this money to say, if it's your keda, don't bother? Let's start from the first.
Well, thank you very much. Probably I should start from the exemption side. And I want you to please be a case study yourself.
Okay.
Dr. Misbau spoke now that if he was on 2 million 5 years ago, and it's still on that 2 million now, the kind of taxes will be paying will be lower than what he was paying before. It may be correct because this law, what this law has done is to provide for you a lot of reliefs. And I tell you, you know, we say tax evasion is criminal, tax avoidance is not. I want to advise our people now to be able to do a lot to avoid payment of taxes. How do we do that? Before the computation of your taxable income, because it is the taxable income that we're going to we're going to tax. Now, most of us, even those of us who are salary earners, how many of us are on life insurance policy? I doubt, even in this institution, if you have 2 or 3 people on life insurance, and it is your money that, okay, you have to subscribe to certain payment of money every month for the next 5 years. All those money that you are paying will be deductible to your salary, and it's a relief. So if I have a salary now that is being paid me by Western Spring Television, all what I need to do is to involve myself in the payment of pension, contributory pensions, it is exempted. Payment of insurance policy, life insurance policy especially, it is exempted. If you have owner-occupied house and you borrowed money to build that, the interest that you are paying on that loan is exempted. If you are not a home-occupied owner and you rented a house, you will still be given a relief up to 500,000 naira or 20% of that rent, whichever that is high, because it's capped at 500,000. Now, by the time you put all these reliefs against your salary, you are likely to have maybe 900,000, 800,000, 1 million as your taxable income, and that one again you deduct a whole of 800,000 from it. It's only the leftover that will now be taxed. So guys should sit down, plan their life. That's what we do. They do in abroad, and for you to be able to get maximum benefit from the new tax law. But I can assure you, for those who are earning, I'm still saying, for those who are earning less than 10 million naira in a year, this tax reform is your best bet. It's better than what we are enjoying currently. There is a calculator on the tax fiscal policy website. Go and use it in the conference of your room, plug whatever you are earning, and you answer that question yourself. Number 2, those who are being exempted, that's why we say this particular tax reforms is pro-poor people. So those who will be making noise, honestly, are the earliest that Dr. Misbau was talking about, all the highly placed personalities who have been evading tax many years. I have an experience of many of these people. Even in the state, those who pay taxes are those people that are low-income earners, personal income taxpayers. Those are the people ordinarily that pay their taxes. Those ones that are billionaires, when they give you 10 million naira as their taxes, you think they are paid. No, they are the ones that are not paying in Nigeria, and that's where the focus of this tax reform is. And that's why you begin to get a lot of noises from those people, because they know the moment this thing takes off in January, they will lose a lot of income to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is good for us. It's good for those of us who are low-income earners, middle-income earners, and those of us who are small business people. Now, for us, in line with these tax reforms, those who are earning less than 800 naira will be exempted, but those who are in businesses, if your annual turnover is less than 50 million, definitely you will be exempted, and which is good. How many people, even in our state now, will boast of having a turnover of billions in this particular state that we have? You understand? And even in Nigeria, we realize that majority of businessmen fell below the threshold of certain amount of money. Yeah. Your assets less than 250 million, your turnover less than 50 million. If you belong to that section, then you'll be exempted from paying taxes. I think it's good for. All
right, Dr. Ademikanra, yes. my colleague spoke about the fact that Nigerians and people generally, they are always interested in their money. It's not so much about taking the money now as tax. Yes. We want to ask you about how the money will be used now. Is it not, when people see that their money will be put to good use, will be used for their health, their education, I know, the betterment of their life generally, they're fine. But now, is it not small resources in the hands of people people would now embezzle again. There are several embezzlements that we're still probing, and there is no light, no direction for all of these probes. So how, I mean, do we have a better, how would I put it now, pool where this money is going to be going to, and how probably to be expended?
Okay, that's another level of a tax collection. For me, as a tax expert, what I'm interested in is how do we get money to fund most of our public institutions?
Yeah.
That is my area. How it is expended is in the hand of the executives. And I know that over the years, we know that we have been grumbling. People will even tell you, when you ask them to pay their taxes, they will say, the ones we have paid, we cannot see the effect of it, so I'm not going to pay. But that is another kettle of fish. But the truth is, look at the issue of subsidy removal. After the subsidy was removed, you are paying more than what you are paying before. That's another form of taxes. But what is the effect now? Subnationals, federal government, they are getting more money in their pool, to the extent that not a single governor in Nigeria today is bold to say is going to the either to the money market, either to the stock exchange or to any of those banks to go and borrow money. They have enough. Are they using it well? Citizens must hold their governors and the federal government accountable to whatever they are collecting from us. So if we do that, then Nigeria will be better. But I can assure you, with what we have seen under the subsidy removal now, there's more money. So one governor from Ebonyi State declared 150,000 naira as a Christmas bonus for all their staff. How many governors are doing that? It's our money. It's not the money of those governors. So governors must rise. Whatever they have in their hand, they must use it for the benefit of their citizens. So if at the end of the day, more money has been collected, more revenue has been generated, and it's not being used well for the benefit of the citizens, then we citizens must be able to
the second part of my question, yes, I asked at that time, is the issue of these allegations and alterations.
The alteration, yeah.
Yeah, I want you to look into that as well. But before that, now, the issue of multiple taxation is another thing, overlapping taxing. How will that, has that been factored into this matter? Because if you said the informal sector, the law is quite silent on that.
Yeah.
And I said, how are people can always exploit that open-endedness anyhow they want. You see tickets or whatever they call permit on market days, 100 naira, 500 naira. The state will come, the local government will come, the non-state actors, the boys, they will come as well. So all of these things, has it been factored in? When the local government, for my local government, Elisha West, comes with his people to say on market days, at Akuma's market day, come and pay for this. With the Yalata say, no, I'm not going to pay. The state guys, the shop, whatever permit, all of those things, how has this law factored all of those things so that we don't have multiple, on a regular market day, even in Igbono or at Akuma's in Elisha, you will, what they call tickets, you have like 3 or 4 given to you. How would that be, factored in?
So this is quite easy. Since 1998, that has been under the Decree 21 of 1998, that has been sorted out. And I want to say that come January 1, I want you to know that nobody will come to the road to stop your trucks from moving from state to state. That has been settled under these tax reforms. And that is part of the harmonization we are talking about. And that is the work of the the Joint Revenue Board, formerly Joint Tax Board. That has been agreed upon. No more sticker from one state to the other. So what we need to do, each state has been empowered now to do what we call an harmonization law. I believe we have that in Osun since 2019. A harmonization law has been passed so that between local government and the state, there will be an understanding. Let me inform you that the markets, all those open markets that you have in every state, is under the purview of the local government. Okay. That is where they have to generate their levies, and nobody will go there to go and share whatever they have. They are still there to trade it. The state cannot go there. The federal government cannot go, except the market is built by the state. If the market is built by the state, say for instance in Oyo now, the Gbagi market is built by the state, so the state will have control over the collection of levies. So
there will still be tickets in those markets?
Of course, there will be, because that is levies, it's not taxes. Okay. It depends on how you, as every day, we're going to give you 20 naira, 15 naira, all those are levies, they are not taxes. So that one will still be there. But when you now say that 4 taxes will come to that market, I don't believe that will be right. And if there is any, then those people who are in the market should please throw it up. There should be only 1 ticket to be collected in that market. So that won't be a problem. If you look at Lagos State, for instance, for over 20 years, there is nowhere in Lagos that you'll be going to and you say anybody stopping you and saying you should come and pay this and this, or you pay for land use charge, or neighborhood rate, and local government will come. In Lagos State for over 20 years that has been stopped. And in 2022 it was stopped in Osun State, because what you need to do is to harmonize your collection. Local government and state, they will come together. They will reach an agreement. That's what they normally do. Reach an agreement, sign MOU between the two governmental.
Not to share.
And you share. The state will now collect. As at today in Osun, if the state is collecting land use charge and one local government comes out to say they want to collect tenement rate, please tell them I will not pay.
Quickly, because I want to talk in 1 minute on these alleged alterations.
Yes.
How do you see it?
For me,
they are not made from outside of government.
Okay.
People at the legislative arms are the one raising this.
Okay. Now, Femi, the question is, at what point was it uttered without conceding? Because I'm not part of them, but let us imagine that it has been uttered. At what stage? There was a time the bill was passed by the house, the two houses, and it was harmonized and passed into law, and it was given to Mr. President to assent. At the time that Mr. President has assented, that is the official document that will govern this law, these tax reforms. If at the point of gazetting it, I want to say maybe the lawyer on the other side will agree with me. Gazette is just a mere publication. Gazette is it's not a legal document. The legal document is the enrolled bill, the bill that was enrolled and passed into law. That is the issue. So if there is any alteration along the line when it was being published, the issue is that once it is thrown up, there could be a corrigendum, more like a correction from the Gazette side. It could be done. But if it is not, you as a taxpayer, you are guided only by the bill that has been passed into law. And if anybody comes and wants to use anything against you, and that is why most times it's good for us to have documents of this bill or this act. If you have the document and you have issues, when there are discrepancies between the two, then the past bill suffices. The gazetted copy is just like when you give me your wedding program and you ask me to go and...
You think so?
I'm telling you.
Maybe Barrister
will confirm to you. Gazette is just
there is a reason why a document or law is gazetted.
Why? That's why I say it's a publication.
Well, Mr.
I say it's a publication. Reason why this thing is coming up strongly this way, like he said, most people that are against these particular tax reforms, they didn't want the tax reform to see the light of the day.
But we can't discriminate.
No, you can. I said when a gazette, which is a mere publication, as an issue, as it was decided in the Supreme Court of Attorney General of Lagos State and Attorney General of Federation in 2004, it has been settled that when there is a discrepancy between the Gazette and the past bill, which is an act, then the past bill suffices. All what you need to do, throw it up, then corrections will be made on the Gazette. All
right, Dr. Misbau, let's have your take on that. On Dr. Ademikanra's submission.
Yeah, the import of having laws gazetted.
Let me just go straight off and say, usually, at law, we say there is a thin line between being a legal expert and a tax expert. Because tax is law, and law is also tax. So the summary of that is that Dr. Ademikanra has spoken brilliantly well as an expert that he is on this subject. Yes, in truth, a gazette is, technically speaking, publication, and that's it. publicizing a bill that has been passed to law. So if there is a problem during the process of publication, and I think I did make a point earlier when I said this thing is mainly about processes. So if it is possible, yes, during the publication process or printing process or printing press, if you like, some clerical errors or whatever were made, and if it can be established that what was published in the Gazette is different from what was passed by law or at the parliament and assented by the president, of course, what the president assented, is a law and not what is gazetted. Yes, there have been instances, you can even Google this, you can fast check this. There have been instances where documents were gazetted wrongly or erroneously. So this is just to say, yes, I agree with Dr. Ademikanra, and I think that's a very perfectly made point. And I guess one of the reasons why those in government don't even seem to be bothered by this, they probably understand that these things happen sometime. But like I said, these allegations are quite worthy, and I can only hope that they are not true.
Yeah, so, some of the concerns of people that have been thrown up in the public space is some of those things that are said to be in the gazetted version that are quite different from what was agreed on the floor of the House, talking about a kind of absolute power given to the Nigerian Revenue Service to impose fines without even going to the court, to appear dictatorial. And of course, the currency of transaction being domiciled to be dollars instead of the currency of the transaction, depending on the country, and all of those things that seems to take the people's power away and put so much power in the hands of the soon-to-be Nigerian Revenue Service to do as they want anyhow. And even if it is one alteration, for us to have a nation that we are proud of, shouldn't it be looked into properly and culpability returned to where it belongs, instead of discountenancing it to be is just a gazetted error?
Well, I don't think you really understood, with due respect to you, what we are saying here. We are not trying to dismiss the worthiness, if you like, of these allegations by saying, well, this is just a gazetted copy. No, we are not saying that. I think we are just trying to clarify that, or clarify what a gazette is. That is, it is a publication. During a publication process, there could be error. And I'm happy he gave this, an example of a wedding certificate or whatever. If you ask a publisher to publish something for you and errors occur in the process of publication, it does not change the content of your original document. You can easily flag those errors and they could be corrected. But I don't want to really make any excuse for government, because we don't even know now if this is a gazette error or publication error, or if this was a deliberate fraud on the part of some people. And this is why I said we should not speculate too much. We should rather wait for the outcome of the investigation by the... Well,
let me take this as your parting shot, because we are totally out of time. There are some persons that say, if anybody will, and for Dr. Ademikanra as well, if anybody or any association or group or institution will probe whatever has happened, that the institution of the state that they are supposed to defer to for checks and balances, being their representative, they are in bed, perpetual bed with the executive. And some Nigerians will say nothing will come out of it. In 15 seconds, do you really trust the National Assembly under a Tinubu to really come out with anything,
Well, we run a democracy. People are entitled to their opinion.
You are Nigerian as I am.
So yes, well, as a Nigerian, I do not think so. I think the proper platform to start this is the House of Rep or the National Assembly. And if people are not pleased with that, the court are also there. This could actually be challenged in court by anyone who has the locus to do so. Mind you, you need to put the evidence before the court. But let me say finally, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. The law should go ahead. When the people see the benefit of this law, I'm sure Nigerians themselves will rise up.
I guess that's a good place to leave it for you. Your party of 15 seconds. Why should Nigeria not resist this? It's commencement in January 1.
Nigeria should be rest assured they should not resist, because ordinarily they've been paying taxes even before now. And I want to also reconfirm to you that whatever you are paying before, especially if you're a low or middle income earner, you are likely to pay less than that. And
so you're in support of it?
I'm in support of it. And Femi and Temitope, please go on your own, do your own self-assessment, go to fiscalreforms.ng, plug in your salary there, and you realize that what you pay will be less than what you are paying.
You know, we're in the era of fact checking, and I think the website is fiscalreforms.ng.
Yeah.
So plug in whatever you're earning to know if it will be the better for, so that you know if your dirty December will not end in a tattered January.
It won't.
So that you will know.
It won't. If you are earning,
Dr. Ademikanra, Nigerians will be the judge of
if
that.
you are earning less than 10 million and you are going to pay more taxes than now, call me. I will give you a turkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fiscalreforms.ng. But then the power belongs to the people. Dr. Lateef, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, to my pleasure. Thank you.
Of course,
Have a good
Dr. Adegbite.
Merry Christmas in advance.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Wish you the same as well. If only distance is not an issue, we'll have been at your end, but then there's a way to go about that. All right, Dr. Ademikanra, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas in advance.
You are in close proximity to us, so expect us as well.
Sure.
At least if we can't be in London, we can be in Oshobo.
You can.
For now. All right, thank you to everyone, and of course, trust us to be on this matter and say it as it is. And we won't close our eyes. And of course, the eagle eye is always watching. Femi Ojo is my name. We'll make a return tomorrow.
My name is Temitope Ajijola Oluwaola. Thank you for joining us today.